brainstorming session for all participants, led by Dr. Rao. So, Dr. Rao, would you come up here and lead us on this journey where we are going to unfold our mind to talk about lawsuits as a strategy? Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This actually follows on with from Allison's presentation on what's happening in Peru. And I got involved in it when Allison asked me. And I wrote the brief, an animal agriculture brief, to support the students from an environmental perspective. And I realized that, literally, we are killing the planet, right? We are killing the planet, and they're saying they have the right to kill the planet. And I say, what? I live on this planet too. How come I don't have the right to live on this planet? Because someone else wants to kill the planet. So I think there is something much bigger happening here in terms of the lawsuit strategy. The right to conscience is one way of looking at it. That's from an ethical perspective. But from an environmental perspective, it's literally your home is being destroyed. Your home is being destroyed. Your home is on fire, and people are saying you cannot put out the fire. I've got the fire hose, and I'm not going to use it. In fact, I'm going to pour gasoline on the fire. So from an environmental perspective, I think we have an even stronger case than what the students brought from a right to conscience perspective. So this is why I want to discuss it as a strategy. I'm open to suggestions as to how we go about this. Maybe we can even get Allison on to answer some of the questions that people still had. And then we can go further. You okay with that, Allison? Yeah.
Fine.
I know, Dakota, you had a question for Allison.
Well, just wondering, is this the first case? I'm sorry, yeah. I was just wondering, did you say this was the first case of this type in the Americas?
To my knowledge, it's the first case in the Americas, yes. Yeah. I mean, there may have been a case that I'm not aware of, but from everything I've been able to find out, and according to the Vegan Society and according to the attorney here, it's the first case on the basis of conscience in the Americas. Yeah.
Thank you for tackling that and engaging Dr. Rao too.
Yeah. But Sailesh,
Allison, did you have any response to that? I mean, I know you've read my brief. You translated it.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of translating. Yeah. Yeah. So just in a contextual sense, here in Peru, veganism is largely based on ethics. That's just the foundation here. Now, there should be more of a broad-based support for veganism on the basis of environmentalism, because here we are. Peru is the headwaters of the Amazon. About half of Peru is Amazon rainforest. But that segment of the vegan population is still young here. So the attorney decided to go and base his suit on the right to conscience. But when it came time to submit the documentation, he was very interested in what you had to say. And we did submit that argument because the students obviously have a right to a future. How can they, in all how can they be students in a university setting studying how to be a relevant leader in the future, toward the future, and not take into account the environmental impact of animal agriculture? So that was the important element, I think, of your presentation, Sailesh, that you said it's the educated choice for students today to be vegan. Because not to be vegan is not to have a future. Mhm.
Right. So, do you think Isaac would be open to exploring this idea?
I do. And I know he is interested in submitting other cases in other settings. So maybe, I don't know. Are you thinking it would be a separate case in a different university or, I mean, he's now become part of this vegan society network of attorneys.
Okay.
So, he could take on a case in another country, even, I think, outside of Peru.
Is this something that we can approach the vegan society with?
I think we can approach the vegan society, absolutely, yeah. And I think you're contemplating becoming part of another lawsuit, and I would expect the vegan society to be right there with you for this other lawsuit that you're working on.
Mhm.
Do you remember that there was a lawsuit in Europe recently that was submitted to, I think, the International Court? It was a group of senior women against their country. I think it was Norway, because Norway was not keeping to its commitments in terms of environmental protections. And they won the case on an environmental basis against the government of Norway because they said that it was an infringement, particularly on the health of seniors who were more vulnerable to the environmental implications than the rest of the population. Yeah.
Yeah, but for younger people also, they have to live longer on this earth.
Good
Right?
point. Yeah.
Degradation is happening year by year.
Yeah.
So, any other response to this? Come on. Yeah.
Not sure if this is a question directly for Allison, or if it's just a general suggestion, but I'm thinking about those lawsuits that have been brought together by youth activists, brought forward by youth activists against the fossil fuel companies. And so I'm wondering if something similar could be done against, for example, the big meat conglomerates.
Yeah. That is an area that I think the PCRM has been interested in. They have provided support to a number of cases in California. And when you go to their website, you'll see some of the documentation of what they've done in California, supporting legal cases, including the one, I forget the name of the student who was promoting plant-based milk in her school.
Oh, Marielle Williamson.
Yes, yeah, they supported that case. But there have been several other cases in the state of California in support of vegans. And I would think that it would be interesting. I can put you in touch with the attorney at the PCRM who's been supporting us down here, and he'll answer you right away if they would be interested in supporting a case. Of course, one of the things we have to do is we have to find somebody, an attorney, to support us and to take us through this process. So if you have an idea of a case in mind, the Vegan Society and their network may have someone who would take up your case. But a lot of this work is being done pro bono. So there is a cost implication. So we have to find ways to finance the cases. And they do take time. So it's not something that happens quickly. It requires staying with it and pursuing it.
I think part of the legal strategy is
My husband.
part of the legal strategy is suing public sector entities because they don't have unlimited funds. But when you begin to sue the meat industry, then you're over against literally unlimited funds, unlimited legal resources, and they'll just make it a strategy to run you out of money. So just relatively speaking, I think that's a consideration.
Good point. Yeah. All excellent points. Other thoughts? Oh,
Thank you. I've been thinking about suing people too. You know, I've got a list going, some slaughterhouses around here, and it is I don't know if it's a right of conscience because it hurts my conscience when I see people participating in that, and so I don't know. We know that the group DXE and Wayne Shung, who's been doing lawsuits and getting publicity. It certainly gets publicity in the vegan community. I don't know how it's doing worldwide or US wide, but I know in the local community, they certainly know. And we have seen a couple of slaughterhouses close. So have you had thoughts on that? Anyone, you first, we do the sound. You first, Allison, and then we'll see if anybody else in the audience also wants to sue people.
There's someone else here in the room, but I won't say who it is because if she wants to speak up, she can. But she spoke up recently about billboards showing meat on them. You know, these are large billboards with large images of chopped up animals on them. And, you know, she and the whole community obviously drives in the area. Young children, school buses go by and see these images. So I raised the question with Jim Frieden, who is a friend of, he's an attorney, friend of Climate Healers. If there was a right being infringed upon in that case, and he said he was going to look into it. But in the first instance, he was not feeling like we would have a good case there because he said that companies have the right to advertise. And so he didn't feel very encouraged about taking on that kind of a suit. But in terms of the slaughterhouse being in your neighborhood, I think that there are better chances maybe with a slaughterhouse when you look at the environmental impact. When they are destroying the cleanliness of your water, the smell, those aspects in particular, I think, are ripe for lawsuits. And those are the types of suits that have been taken up in the state of North Carolina. There was a film, what's the name of that film? Did you see it, Rebecca?
Smell of money, is that it?
Yeah. Yeah. What is it again?
The Smell of Money.
Smell of Money. Yes. That goes into quite a bit of detail. And I think Cory Booker is in that film, right? About those suits that were won in the state of North Carolina, which is notorious for its lack of control of these CAFOs in the state of North Carolina. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm thinking about the Anonymous for the Voiceless, who shows images and the uproar that people have. How could you show that to people? And so that billboard idea of putting a billboard up and people, I can imagine they're saying, how can you do that? So I wonder if they've had any lawsuits for the people putting up.
You're breaking up, Rebecca.
Over here. And
I couldn't hear your question because you were breaking up.
there. Okay, Allison's trying to speak now. Just a moment, Allison.
No, I was saying I wasn't able to understand you because you were breaking up. What was your question or what was your statement there at the end?
Thank you. I was recalling Anonymous for the Voiceless, who shows videos of atrocious things that happen, the reality, and people go into an uproar.
Yes.
And so if the billboard idea of all that atrociousness. It seems like people would be in an uproar about that. And I wonder if they try to think about a lawsuit. I mean, something has to be going through their mind. Wait, I'm suing them for showing something that is happening that I'm participating. So I'm just curious about that.
Mhm.
And I wonder if you have any comments on that.
You know, Liz Gary has her hand up. Liz, can you come on screen?
Oh, Allison, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yes. I think someone else in the room may have something to say about that, and I wondered if she would be willing to come on screen. She's got her hand raised.
Oh, okay. That'll be great to hear from her. And then we do have another question or comment because this is a discussion. So we are.
Yeah, like what's the difference between seeing big old slabs of cut up bodies compared to the,
Right. So people in the audience here are making an observation about how different, how similar things are.
I think Liz must be having trouble with her phone. She was.
It's too atrocious. Okay.
I'm guessing.
Not want to speak right now. So we do have a line coming up. And
I'm guessing Liz is having trouble with her phone because she has her hand up, but she's not. Oh, yeah. She'll probably come back. She must be having trouble with her phone. Okay.
Okay, great. So I'm going to bring up the next person who has a question and also as the MC. And then I'll bring up Dr. Rao.
Yeah, I was just, living in Texas and passing by this one place all the time that has, every week they have a different batch of baby calves that they use to practice their rodeo skills on. They just every week they're these little calves, and it's a rodeo arena, an old-fashioned Texas rodeo arena, and they're abused. These baby calves are just thrown to the ground, whipped around, no telling if they break their neck or whatever. And then they're just slaughtered. They're just sent to slaughter. And I'm just wondering if there's anything. I always want to stop and I want to go to these people's house. I want to knock on their door, and because it's a public highway. And so every day I pass by there and I wonder, is nobody else seeing this? Am I the only one seeing that these babies are every week there's another batch, no mothers, skin and bones, tags in their ears. And it just makes me sick. I just wish there was something I could do.
So Renee, let me ask you a question. Would you want to approach this from the right of the vegan to conscience, or some other right of the vegan, or is it the right of the animal to?
Well, I think it goes both ways, because my conscience, I want to knock on that door and say exactly what I'm thinking. But I know, being a former cattle rancher living in cattle country, that if I do that, I have a sneaking suspicion that they're not going to value my conscience one bit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And because they're seeing these animals as property that they can throw around and practice their rodeo skills on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just want to know, is there anything I can do? Every time I pass by this place, I literally weep. Tears, my gut, I scream. And I don't feel like I've talked about it here, and my husband's heard me talk about it. And I told him one day I was going to stop by and knock on their door. And he was like, Renee,
Yeah.
Because it's just right down the road from us.
Yeah. I think that's where traditionally animal activism has been the way to go in that situation. And, there's so many people, Wayne Shung included, that are experts in that area. So that's something that I would address to Wayne Shung in terms of how to respond to that. Because they will say that they're not infringing upon your right. That's their property, and it's not public property. If it's public property, I think you've got a different case to go on. Mm-hmm. If it's a public venue, if it's a public activity. That's why schools, hospitals, jails, elementary schools, high schools, all of those public institutions have to make room for the conscience of vegans.
It's a
And
public highway. It's a public
okay,
highway that
interesting. Yeah.
I just can't believe there's no other way for me to go. You know? Did you
Yeah,
want to
that's
say something about
that's
that?
interesting.
Well,
There's no other way for you to
I'll
go.
just say, as far as the traditional advocacy way, IDA, we can help you.
You can?
Yes, we can
Oh.
do an alert about that. We can send them letters. We can do things like that.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. We can definitely do it. So we've got that. And then also, I think it is infringing upon your right to liberty, peace, happiness. And these are things that are part of our rights as human beings. So here, unfortunately, not animals included currently in our legal system, but it does seem to me like this is her impacting her experience. And I was thinking of something similar in my neighborhood where they have a barbecue and they have this open, it's not really a pit, it's some sort of canister. But anyway, it's like very unappealing to me. It's terrible to smell this flesh that's burning. And I'm going to reach out to them. But I also was wondering legally, is that infringing upon my right to peace and happiness and liberty for all?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because you made me want to cry just now, because I feel like it is my right to be able to say something about these animals on a public highway that are just going to be thrown around so grown men can act like they're, cowboys. And then, throw them in a trailer and send them off to be slaughtered.
And the other thing, Renee.
So to answer your question, do you have any answers?
Yes, I wanted to say that the other thing that should come into our conversation is the right of the children who are exposed to this on the highways, whether it be a billboard. And Liz is now available. If I can bring Liz into the conversation. Whoops, we lost the others.
Hi, Allison.
Hi there. Okay, now we're all here. So Liz has a similar situation. Liz, would you talk about your situation? I think it's quite similar to what Renee is talking about.
Yeah, Renee, we're exposed to things that we shouldn't have to be. And I have a whole laundry list of examples of things that I think could be presented in court. I want to go back to before I became a vegan, I had a career in traditional food service as a consultant and educator. And I worked for the Egg Commission. I did all kinds of stuff for the meat industry. And then I quit because somehow my heart said, I'm done with the food business. I'm going to go back to school. So I got a degree in Spanish and I got a master's degree in management. And I was hired to work in education as a student services recruiter. And I was working as a consultant at the San Onofre nuclear plant. I went from teaching kids how to cook eggs to working in a nuclear plant. And I was very successful in getting grant funding and taking concepts that were given to me. I took notes on a Starbucks napkin from the training director at the San Onofre nuclear plant. He said, I want to get a program in energy technology. I want students in class. I want internships. I want scholarships. And I need you to help make it happen. And guess what? I took that little Starbucks napkin and I sat down at my desk and I made it happen. In about 2 years, I had a full functioning California State Chancellor approved degree in energy technology with students in the pipeline. And it's an interesting story. All consultants were laid off coincidentally the day the tsunami hit Fukushima. And I watched Fukushima melt down with my coworkers at the San Onofre nuclear plant. And when I drove off, I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be coming back again to hand out atomic fireball candies at high school career fairs, recruiting kids to work at this plant anymore. And sure enough, about 2 years later, the plant closed. But I had a change in life because I became a vegan my last year of employment at the plant. And I jumped over to work in our community college district and got hired as a faculty, an adjunct faculty member in the culinary arts program for continuing education. I also, at the same time, there was another gal that was hired that taught everything. I went to my interview. I went to the office and I gave the secretary a bag of vegan cookies and I said, I'd like to teach vegan cooking classes. She said, give me all of your paperwork. I'll arrange an interview. They sent me an invitation and they asked me to cook chicken piccata. I paced back and forth. I was like, what do? I bring my own tofu. I cooked the chicken piccata. I did it. I just went ahead and I cooked the chicken piccata for them. The dean, the head of culinary, the office staff, they're all watching me. And I explained the whole time how I'm a vegan. And you know what? Before the meeting was over, the school secretary stood up and said, "You're hired. You're hired." And I was like, oh my God, they didn't even get to come to a consensus, but they're telling me I'm hired. I said, I'm going to take it because I'll take any chance I can get. And I went into that program and I worked so hard to refurbish the classroom, get funding, volunteers. I talked to the dean about my idea about getting a plant-based program for chefs. And you know what? I was finally called into her office and she said, if you don't start cooking meat in your class and following the USDA dietary guidelines, I'm not inviting you back. So she let me go because I was not cooking meat in my classes. And I accepted the job only on the terms that it was a class titled Eat for a Healthy Lifestyle. And in the curriculum, it said teach healthy sources of protein. I fulfilled that. But yet they told me that if I didn't comply with the full spectrum of USDA dietary recommendations, that I was not welcome as an instructor in their institution. And then come to find out, okay, so there's one lawsuit right there. Don't you think we should be able to hire vegans to teach cooking in our schools? Well, the same case is true in our high schools. I went to look at the career and technical education to apply to become a career and tech ed teacher in culinary arts, and they won't hire me unless I'm a full-fledged meat promoting, seafood promoting instructor. So that's discrimination. I think there's a lawsuit there. We have to give equal opportunity to people who have different perspectives. And I was left behind. You guys, we could have had the earliest plant-based chef program in San Diego. I could have had duplications of the program across the country. I've done it before. I could have pulled it off. But the meat industry and the USDA stood in the way and shut the door on the opportunity there and left me behind. So,
Liz, may I share the photos that you sent me of the billboards in your neighborhood?
Please do. These are so awful. And when Jim says that companies have the right to advertise, I brought up the fact that, you know what? The tobacco industry and the alcohol industry are not allowed to advertise like this anymore. But this is what I have to look at.
Yes.
3 of these billboards going to school, 3 of the billboards coming home twice a day or twice in a round trip. That's 6 plus times 2 plus other times I have to go by this location. But this is what I'm looking at every day. And you know what? The San Diego vegan market is located right under the shadows of these signs. And they look like a little blip on the radar compared to this horrific meat industry campaign. Where is this little butcher shop getting all the money for these billboards? And guess what? They're going up all over town. Some of these billboards used to have vegan messages. The Vegan Justice Group had a billboard. The Eat Differently campaign had a billboard to help people think and evolve. But now, look, this is what we have. This is the next layer on the cake in advertising in San Diego right now. I find it disturbing, upsetting, embarrassing, horrible. And the unlimited resources to provide this advertising. I looked into trying to get a billboard for the San Diego vegan market. It's $3,000 a month for a billboard for 2 sides. And here's this meat place with a half a dozen of them all around me. How do they do it? How many vegan sandwiches do we have to sell to be able to afford a billboard like that, for heaven's sakes? It's just not working out.
So Renee, how about the children in the school buses driving by these places that you're talking about and the billboards that Liz is talking about? You'd think that there would be something there. We've asked Jim Frieden to give us an opinion, but I think we ought to write something up and send it to him, detailing.
Something needs to happen because this is in broad daylight. I bet you every week there's at least 7 or 8 baby calves. Just you can tell they're just torn from their mothers, bought at a sale barn, probably for next to nothing, just so they could be whipped, abused, thrown around, and then killed. And I witness this every week. And I have to pray. I scream, and I know school buses. It's a highway. It's and you see them getting ready for their little rodeo arena. So yeah, anything that we can do, I thank Lisa for offering, and anything you can do, y'all just let me know. So I know there might be other people wanting to ask questions. So I want to 2 minutes to the next one.
The people online.
I see there are other
2
questions.
minutes to the next talk.
Yeah.
Oh, does anybody else want to say anything about this? Come on. Here's Dakota.
Yeah, just those billboards are disturbing. But it almost seems like the meat industry is doing that thing where, first they ignore you, and then how's that saying go? And then they fight you, laugh at you, and then anyway, yeah. Oh, well, I want everybody to hear me out in front of my mouth because I can't hear nobody else when they do this. Anyway, yeah, it just seems like they're scared now, so that's kind of good in a way too. I mean, I'm not happy about these billboards. I'm just saying that when they go crazy like that, I don't know. I think we're doing good work. Let's just keep it up. We're going to keep it up.
Okay, will you check and see if Allison's getting ready to say something? All right, I'm back in the screen here. So this we're talking about strategies for a roadmap, and we keep hearing a lot of things that we can do, and so I'm kind of like taking in a whole lot of things. And yes, I can up my actions, but do I need to be talking about people about lawsuits? For instance, I've been sharing about this one that you're doing, Allison, and now that Renee is talking about that one, and Liz talked about that law, about what ought to be done to those terrible signs. Thank you, Liz, for saying that. I am wondering, would we get the support from the vegan community to do a lawsuit? So if Climate Healers did a lawsuit, if that's what we want to know. Do we have support for you? And what would you want us to do? Do you want us to pick a case, give you a few options to choose from? Here's what's happening, because like you said, we've had a list of things that are going on. Which state would be best to do a lawsuit? Which city? Where are we going to get the support to make it big? Because we don't want to do something that is just going to cost us a lot of money. I mean, even that's good, of course, but we want something with some big actions. And if we can hear from Allison now, who's online, to hear your comments about that. Just a second, Allison.
I think there may be an opportunity to build a suit in the name of a nonprofit like Climate Healers. I think there's a question there, a strategic question about whether this should be a group action or whether it should be individual action. And I think an attorney would be in a better position to guide us about the best strategy, whether it should be individual cases that you or I would put forth, or whether it would be a case that a group of us would come together and maybe have a stronger case. Like a group of mothers is what's happening in Spain. It's a group of mothers that have come together whose children all study at the same school. So I think that's part of the question. But yeah, I think we could even just go to the Vegan Society and say, hey, we understand you're building a strategy of cases to expand the recognition of the right to conscience or other rights for vegans. And if we were to put our heads together and build a suit against a particular case, what would you think would be the most advantageous case to put forward at this time so that we can be on the same page with you or something like that? I think the Vegan Society would reply to us with a recommendation on what kind of case would be most helpful to build our platform of legal recognition.
Okay, so I think I'm understanding you that if we do come up with some, then we check with those other groups like the Vegan Society and the other groups that are already on board. So yours is a good example for us to follow. And first we have to decide which one to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this may be what I just think I heard Dr. Rao say something about the Founding Mothers Movement. Also, they're a large network of people. So if we can get that group also. Dr. Rao, did you want to say anything else at this point? Okay. So pardon? Okay, well, we're going to pursue it is what he said. So
yeah, also Annie has her hand up. I'm going to.
Dr. Rao,
yeah.
Would you check Allison's the speaker, please, on for Allison? Thank you. And we also have Annie on here. So Allison, did you want to reply and then Annie?
Yes, I would be inclined, based on my experience with the Vegan Society, I would be inclined to contact them. And I've been working with the head of the legal department in London. And so I can scope it out with her. Maybe Dr. Rao and I could get on a Zoom call with her and discuss it as a first step. And then we could see where we go from there. That would be my idea of how we could proceed. Yeah.
Okay.
Annie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Great subject and great comments. Thank you for having me and speak up. I've worked with the LAUSD and there's so much lawsuit that needs to be, had over there, obviously. When a child has allergies or is vegetarian, vegan, there's absolutely no care about that child. They literally forced kids to take the milk. They were told, take it and throw it in the trash. To me, this was a huge issue. So I practically all the time, I had major issues with anyone who I expressed my frustration. I'm like, you're basically killing babies so that you take their milk and throw them away. Another thing, the trashing of the food. They would bring the milk, baby milks that they stole, the baby cow milk. They would be frozen. Kids would they tried to drink, they couldn't drink it. So it ended up in the trash. And I would watch the cafeteria throw boxes and boxes away. There's so much trashing of our tax money while murdering baby calves and mothers, while destroying our environment. There's so many cases. So I know PCRM had made a case with, I believe, Marianne Williamson, that young girl, 15 years old. She had a lawsuit. What if we could join forces and have a big class action? Because there's a couple of different cases like this, and all to unite and say enough is enough. This is our tax money, our right. And I know Free From Harm, they're doing incredible work confronting, risking themselves all the time. DXC does this all the time. PETA does it. Why can't we have everybody ideate, everybody join in? And enormous shake, because these are mobsters. To me, I see them as mobs. They've taken over our government offices or officials, controlling them. In Plant Pure Nation, this is very, very clear how much of a play they have in the game. They literally, change everything around from yes to a no. Even though their eyes, their ears, they see in front of their eyes, people are witnessing 10 days and my blood pressure is gone. 10 days and I don't have to take my, diabetes medication. 10 days and I lost my weight. I feel better, this and that. So there's huge potential. And I feel that small actions are great, but I feel we need enormous one, like all united and do a thing that will shake them out of their foundation. Because foundationally, they're really comfortable where they are. They have put a huge hole in our pocket from our taxes. Billions, 250 billion plus is going in their pocket every year.
Yeah. So I hear a couple of things from you, Annie. One is the right to conscience when it comes to vegetarians or vegans in school environments where they're being served these, the dairy and those things. That's the right to conscience. And then there's the other thing, which is the right to health, which is what the PCRM is supporting. So there are different rights that we have to defend there. And I think that, we can work with some of these institutions that are already approaching these questions from a legal standpoint, whether it's the PCRM or whether it's the Vegan Society, and there are others. And we could put something together and create a team effort. And maybe it's, something that we could all participate in nationwide, each of us in our own location. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Class action. We need a class action. Yes.
Feedback, your questions. Allison, always good to hear from you. It's that time, y'all. We thank you so much. It's that time where we're going to get feedback from all of you. We've had an amazing 2 days, and a lot of people are inspired, motivated, and encouraged to come up to the microphone and talk about their experience. And we want to open up the floor here and also online so that we can just kind of segue into what is it that you're inspired to do now that you have been a part of such an amazing conference that really is not quite over yet. Dr. Rao is going to come back up here and do another keynote here all about the Climate Healer Manual. So y'all stick around for that. But we are going to talk about all of our feelings, our experiences. What do we think we can do to help further promote a vegan world by 2026? So who wants to line up? You want to come on up? So it's Gabriel, right?
Peter.
Where was the Gabriel? There was a Gabriel. Gabriel.
Here
we go. We got Peter. Here you go.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Renee, and thank you for all the inspiration that you spread. You have such an amazing story. I so enjoyed hearing it. I've known about you and your work, but I had no idea what the whole story was. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's my honor at this point. Dr. Rao invited me to create a declaration and to invite people to sign it. And our work is about uniting the vegan world. And I've heard so many people refer to how it is that we really need a community, a united vegan community. There's so many facets, there's so many people doing such amazing work that our mission has been to unite the vegan world. and he invited me to create a declaration, which I brought with me. And I'm asking people to come to the back of the room and sign the declaration. Our work with the vegan community is about bringing together the vegan world, about education, about helping us all be better advocates and ambassadors for the vegan movement, and do it all in one place. And with our work, we're creating this community that will welcome the vegan curious. So really also creating a landing place for those who are not quite vegan yet, who are interested, who are curious, so we can together bring them on board and show them all a loving place and all the many aspects of being vegan, whether it's for animal justice, the climate, for health, or for spirituality. So please come to the back of the room and sign the declaration, and also online at thevegancommunity.com. So thank you all so much.
We'd like for you to read it. Do you want me to hold it, or do you want somebody to read it?
Somebody to read it?
Yeah, Dr. Ralph?
Okay, yeah, sure. That'd be wonderful. Have somebody read it.
Yeah, would you like to read it?
You want me to?
Yes, please.
No, it's up to you. I mean,
Yes.
Dr.
I
Rao
would
just
love
asked
for
me.
you to read it. Sure.
All right. The Declaration for Uniting the Vegan World. I remember this. I was there. We declare our enthusiastic support for unity in the vegan movement through respecting each other and all our diverse approaches as we work together cooperatively to positively transform our society through education and action that promotes the liberation of animals from the millennia-old attitudes and institutions that legitimize the exploitation and abuse of animals. Whereas the underlying and core mission of the vegan movement is liberating animals from human exploitation and abuse. And whereas many corporate, financial, and cultural forces operating in our society are resisting and undermining the liberation of animals. And whereas there are also many varieties of strategies and styles of advocacy within the vegan movement working for the liberation of animals. And whereas some focus their advocacy efforts on the human health aspects of animal liberation by raising awareness about the benefits of shifting to completely plant source foods and products, and whereas some focus their advocacy efforts on the environmental benefits of animal liberation by raising awareness about the devastating impacts of animal agriculture and fishing operations to planetary ecological health across a broad spectrum of areas, and that the world going vegan can significantly reduce these harms. And whereas some focus their advocacy efforts on the moral and ethical demand for animal liberation by raising awareness about the unconscionable, severe physical and emotional abuse routinely inflicted on animals and the humans tasked with performing that abuse. And whereas some focus their advocacy efforts on the spiritual benefits of animal liberation by raising awareness about the importance of animal liberation for human freedom, justice, peace, and inner wisdom and harmony. And whereas the vegan movement is one of respect and inclusion of animals and of humans, and of each person's freedom of thought and action to pursue the liberation of animals as they feel so called. We therefore affirm our dedication to doing our best to embody the essence of the vegan ethic, which is kindness and respect for all living beings, especially reflecting this in our relations with each other. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's mouthful.
That's a mouthful, a few mouthfuls, and
Yeah.
thank you for reading it so beautifully. So please come to the back of the room, and we would like to record a few seconds of your thoughts of why it is important that we all unite the vegan world. So thank you, and I look forward to having lots of people signing it and changing the world together. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I see, Donna, you'll be unmuted in just a moment.
I was telling my guys to turn off the football game. Was there a phase in there, whereas that talks about the meat industry or something? Could you look at that again? Everything seems to be so unifying. And then there was this one little thing about, we got an enemy and we gotta work on them. And I just like to think about maybe taking that out. Could you see what I'm talking about? Or did I miss it?
May I ask you to repeat? There's a lot of whereases. So to find the whereas that you're interested in.
Which one?
There was something about the meat industry that there's.
Which one are you wanting?
It was the only one that I heard that wasn't like, we need to support this, we support this, we support this. There was one that I thought was saying that the meat industry or there was lobby, something about what's not good. Can you post it online? Is it possible to put it in the chat?
Whereas many corporate, financial, and cultural forces, is it that one?
What's the rest of that?
Whereas there are also many corporate, financial, and cultural forces operating in our society are resisting and undermining this liberation of animals.
I think we need to take that out if we're going to have a unifying support and not point out, look at what they're doing. We got to work on them. Take that out so that we can have a unifying, supportive statement. Anyway.
Dr. Rao said he's okay with that. Oh, wow.
Well, now I'm signing up. Thank you. Thank you.
Who else wants to come up and share some experience, strength, and hope? Anybody? James, I'm sure you do, don't you? Come on up here. I can tell you are just waiting. We met this young man sitting here. We had dinner, this evening. And this young man is so amazing. Come over here. This is James, and look at his shirt. Don't eat the homies. And anyway, he lives here in Arizona, and he's got quite the story. Why don't you tell us about your question and your comments and about you?
All right, I don't really have any questions, but I want to thank everybody for all their wonderful speaking today. I've never done this before, but I have a real passion for plant-based living, veganism, all that. I actually think I want to talk more about the health side of all this. If you care about the environment, then, obviously we need to move to more plant-forward eating, because that's one of the big major components to destroying our environment is animal agriculture. I'm pretty sure anybody watching this already understands that, but a lot of people don't know how detrimental these animal foods are for our health. Like from the start to the finish, children being raised eating these foods, it's not good for them. It literally sets them up for disaster. It's like they're ticking time bombs. And, we have like the biggest epidemic of childhood obesity already. None of this is normal, and it's been normalized. And we need to educate ourselves on it, because, you're not going to learn it at school. They're not teaching in our elementary schools. It should be a main focal point with math and science and all this. This should be taught from day one. But we've been taught the pyramid thing, which is all now, it's been changed over and over again within the last 20 years. It's changed 4 or 5 times. They keep on eliminating things and moving things around. So we know that that's bogus. It's not the real science. what it is these major corporations, these, factory farming industries, these big businesses, they're keeping this stuff in there because they have their hand in the government's pocket, so they're all in it together, it's all together. And, if you don't want to see your children end up with maybe a disease that you've had in your life, then maybe, think about it. What's the common denominator? Maybe you got something that your father had or your mother had. And so it's not a genetic thing, really. A lot of it is people, we've been taught, brainwashed to thinking that it's based off of genetics, and that, oh, well, my dad had diabetes, so yeah, I'm just going to get it. No, it's not. That's not even the way how this works. Like, there's a small factor of genes that play into it, but you literally can control it. You can reverse this stuff, or prevent it is the best thing. You can prevent it so that you never have to take these drugs that you see your family members having to take, pharmaceuticals, and it's expensive to be sick. People talk about, oh, it's expensive to eat healthy. Like, you rather invest in your health first. And also that's not even true either. It doesn't have to be expensive. There's many ways to go about it, and there's many sources that you can find that show you that, like, it's not the most expensive way to live. You think about it, and if by living this way, you're automatically, you're not spending all this money on meat, you're not spending all this money on dairy and eggs, and so really you're taking a lot of money and you're able to put it into another area, which is putting it into your health by eating these plant foods that were actually designed for our human bodies. They do wonderful things for you, and it just makes sense. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like,
Thank you so much, James. Thank you for coming up, and welcome to your first time. All right, who else wants to come up and share some of their experience, strength, and hope about this conference?
Okay.
Do you have something else?
Yes, I have something else while we wait for these other people that are thinking about coming up. Thank you, Renee. This is the roadmap to 2026. And I'm of a couple of minds. I remember Dr. T. Colin Campbell writing that it's really hard to explain exactly what nutrient does what in your body, and what if you eat this and this and that, because everything is so different, and it does so many different things in your body once it gets in the system. And so he said he's not even going to worry about it. He's just going to eat a lot of plants or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it's very complicated, and yet we just have to keep doing the right thing and not know which nutrient, which little thing. Now, this is not to go against what James is saying. Health is very important. What I'm saying is that the vegan movement also can be everything going on. I remember reading about a vegan think tank, and they said all their conclusions after all their study was, well, we got to do everything. So I'm saying that because we want a roadmap, and part of me wants to just keep doing what I'm doing and yet amp it up. But also, I think it would be nice to see a roadmap. What do we project would happen if we did this, the lawsuits? What do we project would happen if we keep doing on the food healers? What do we project will happen if we keep talking to people individually? What will happen if we keep, how do we put that in a model that can see what is the best, or can we put that in a model? And we really don't have time to write models, because models take years, I think, to figure out. So I think I'm just, this is part of the discussion. I'm just letting you know some of the things that are going through my mind about how to plan it. And for me, I like graphs, so I would like to have it plotted out. Open a book and say, oh, okay, here's what's going to happen if we do this. Here's what's going to happen if we do that. Here's some steps. So that's what was on my mind today. Thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you. Great stuff.
Thank you.
I love listening to you, Rebecca. I'm so honored to live in your backyard. Yay. All right. We have Johnny that wants to come up and share a few words. So Johnny, come on up. He's here from Arizona.
Yes. Ooh, it's loud. Yes, my name is Johnny, and I live in Arizona. Started my vegan journey and activist journey as well in California. I'm looking right into that, right?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
you are.
And what inspired me about this visit? Well, one, I love anything convergence, vegan community related, and I didn't even know that this was going on until yesterday. I think when I messaged some friends that found out that they're in Scottsdale on a convergence, and so I came lucky enough to have some friends that came along with me. Just anytime that there's communities within or communities or groups that I don't know about within my community, I love just discovering, ones that I didn't know existed. I mean, I know Sailesh Rao and climate healers and whatnot. I just didn't know that it's just a part of the community I'm unaware of. I'm more of a street activist, and we do, the holding the signs and doing all the crazy stuff. And so it's just really nice to know that there's just other bubbles in this, amazing community that I'm part of. It's inspiring, and I have hopes that that groups like this and groups like mine just merge together and assist each other in spreading our message. I have hopes. I've always had, a blind hope of taking down animal agriculture at some point in my lifetime, but maybe not. But I can tell you that there is a portion of animal agriculture that we can take down, and that would be foie gras. Foie gras, yeah. Foie gras is an actual. There's a nationwide movement right now to pressure restaurants, businesses to get them to drop foie gras off their menu. And it's actually, there's like 60 restaurants or so nationwide that have already dropped it because of pressure, and we've seen pressure campaigns from big organizations and that have been effective, but we're actually seeing grassroots activists getting them to drop it and sign a foie gras free policy. And the state has a lot of targets we're finding out, and we're going to at least pressure them to take that ugly item off their menu and eliminate it forever. And so seeing this group, it only empowers me more to continue this incredible journey that we're about to go into in the state of Arizona.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you so much for coming up and sharing with us. Awesome. Right here in Arizona, y'all. Let's get down and rowdy. All right, next up we have Jay O'Shea.
So in addition to all these amazing ideas about grassroots activism, something I'm also inspired by moving forward from this conference is the possibility of institutional activism. As a few of us talked about over these 2 days, their U.S. government agencies are set up to promote the consumption and cheap production of animal products. And specifically, the USDA has an inbuilt conflict of interest where it's designed to promote production and consumption, specifically of animal foods, and also it's in charge of the nutritional guidelines. So Jane of Climate Diet and I have been in a conversation about starting a campaign to move the dietary guidelines, the production of the dietary guidelines from the USDA to the Department of Health and Human Services. So if anyone wants to be part of that campaign, please reach out and let's make it happen.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I think that's a fantastic thing. And here's Renee's got something for you.
Oh, man, do we ever have a treat in store for you? Wait up. Don't go nowhere. And if you got anybody out there, bring them back in. Tell them to come on. We got Lisa Barca in the house, so she's fixing to come up and sing a song for us. But a while ago, I meant to share with y'all this 10th anniversary calendar that Rowdy Girl Sanctuary has, and it's our very 10th anniversary. And you can get it at our store online. And I forgot to tell y'all to do that when I was up here earlier. And so somebody on my team messaged me and told me I should share this. So y'all, this is our one of our December fundraisers. So if you would get online, get your calendar. If you're here locally, get your calendar. It will warm your heart. All right. Next up, we have I have had the privilege of hearing Lisa in person, and I have had the privilege of getting to know her. So Lisa, get up here close. Y'all put your hands together for Lisa Barca. Yay!
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got, thank you.
Yay!
Okay. Thank you. Oh, I need to hold the mic. Well, I don't know. I mean, my voice carries pretty well, but I don't know. You could. Oh, they can't hear me without the mic. Okay. All right. So, I feel like I have the paparazzi around me or something here. Right? Okay. Wow. All right, everybody. Well, it's really an honor to be here today. I'm really grateful that these gatherings are happening in person again. And barbecue protest. And it's about being vegan in a world where we're surrounded by signs of speciesist violence and actual speciesist violence. And I'm so glad that Jane is here, because when we released the video for this in 2020, Jane was a huge champion of it.
Yay!
Helped us get it out there. So anyway, here it goes. Maybe some of you might know it and sing along. Okay. Sorry, guys. I thought I had it tuned up nice before. Okay. Have to be good enough. Okay. Okay. I've been on the outside for a long time, which makes me less concerned about your approval. If my vision beats with your derision, you'll be flagged for removal. Yeah. Cause I don't mind walking on my own. I don't mind deleting you from my phone. We're all born and die alone anyway. Like the feeling beings we killed for food today. So I don't want to go to the barbecue. I don't want to go cause it makes me blue. Now that you know, are we still friends? Sorry, I can't bend. Before you unfollow me, will you hear what I have to say? There's nothing more hollow see than looking the other way. You don't want to hear unpopular opinions, and I don't have a megaphone or minions. I make nice, pretend it doesn't bother me, but that's another me. The real one says, oh, I don't want to go to the barbecue. I don't want to go because it makes me blue. Now that you know, are we still friends? And I don't mind finally taking a stand. Well, find me in Hamburglar land, not by my dollar or my hand. Woo! I don't want to go to your barbecue. Are we allowed to swear? I still don't want to go in a year or two. All right, I'm gonna let one fly. I don't want to go to your fucking barbecue. I ain't gonna go no matter what you do. But you know, are we still friends? Or is this the end?
Lockhart, Texas. We need to bring it to Lockhart. Do you know Lockhart, Texas is the barbecue capital of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
We need to bring that song to Texas.
Oh, yeah. Do you ever go play it outside of some Texan barbecue restaurant? Like,
Yes. You need to do
I'm
it.
strong. I mean, I work out, you know.
Yeah. Or you could teach it to me and I'll go sing it there for you on your
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yay. All
Renee
right.
sings really well. I would love to sing a song with you.
Oh, so fun. You can come on.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Lisa.
Thank you for that song. That's so perfect for me today and just helped my heart because just before we came, I was journaling on the plane because like the church, couple churches I go to and people I live with, they send an email and they're like, we're having dinner church Sunday night. And, it's taco night. Of course, it's, full of ground beef. And then we're having dinner church in 2 more weeks. We're gonna have fried turkey. I was like, oh, yeah. And anyway, I've been trying to see if they would do vegan potlucks forever now. And anyway, and so I just quit going. Well, they still give me a little bit of trying to give me guilt trips about not attending anymore since it's a small group. And I'm like, I don't want to go to your barbecue anymore.
You know what? I did have a flashback. Last week, there was the barbecue festival in Lockhart, Texas. I mean, I was going to get my husband, Tommy, a banh mi sandwich at Hey Darling Vegan Food Truck there at Good Things in Lockhart, Texas. And I went to get him one. And all I could see was massive cars. And I had to swim, literally walk through barbecue trucks, barbecue everywhere in order to get my husband a vegan burger at Good Things. And I did it. But I wish I'd have had that song right there. I'd have been singing it all the way through. I don't want to go to your barbecue. I mean, and it's got to be like her. I mean, she does this punk thing, right? He has this punk thing going.
What thing? Oh, punk thing?
Punk thing.
I've tried to sing different ways. I don't know. It just comes out punk.
I love it. I want to do it. I don't want to go.
It doesn't work.
Come here. I want you to show me how you do that.
Oh, do what?
I don't want to go to your...
Oh, just sing it?
Show me that.
I don't want to go to the barbecue. I don't want to go because it makes me blue. You're throwing a little like song.
I don't want to go to the barbecue.
I don't want to go because it makes me blue. Let's keep going. You want to do it one more time?
I don't want to go to your barbecue. I don't want to go because it makes you blue.
Sorry, I changed the lyrics.
Get it together. We do that. All right. Anybody else?
Red Trailer Park that.
Red Trailer? Oh my gosh.
I just going to quickly say, so when I wrote the song, I hadn't been vegan very long. Oh, when I wrote the song, I hadn't been vegan very long. And I was like, just like, holy fuck, because people were so like unsupportive and stuff. And I didn't, when I was writing it, I didn't realize that so many people felt the same way. And it was just because the song is kind of taken off, since it came out in 2020 in the vegan community. It was just very, it's very affirming for me to be like, yeah, we're a movement. We do experience a lot of the same things, just the interpersonal aspects of being vegan. And it was just amazing to see like, wow, so many people feel this way. So thanks for letting me play it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Comment.
It's one of those.
Yeah, is there anybody online that wants to comment, have a question before I keep singing?
I definitely would like to come in.
Is it what? Is it?
Gotta have a sequel.
Oh, a sequel song. Let's go to the vegan barbecue. That's the sequel.
Yeah, that's the thing I realized. It's like, well, there are vegan barbecues now. You know, right after I'd written it, vegan barbecues were becoming a big thing. I'm like, oh no, is this gonna like invalidate the songs? But I think everyone knows.
Yeah, no, they were talking about
That's, you know, the barbecue stands in metonymically for all of the horrible violence. Oh, well, I didn't know if I was still on stage. Okay.
Yeah, say what you just said again, please.
Oh, about the vegan barbecues?
Yes.
I was just kind of chit-chatting, like, you know, right after I wrote the song in 2017, vegan barbecues became a big thing. And I was like, oh yeah, there are vegan barbecues. Like, do I have to specify now? But I think everyone gets it, that the barbecue kind of stands in metonymically, you know, for all of these things that we have to go to or have to be surrounded by. Just walking across the parking lot, I had to see horrible things, you know, lobster, barbecue, you know, like just there's no real escape from it. And I think we all have so much, you know, or at least some degree of secondary trauma around all of this, around the traumatic knowledge of what the animals go through, and to just have it in your face like that. Every second of every day, you know, you have to repress it somewhat, right, just to function, and it can kind of build up. So
that's
why I like to yell.
Where can we find your music? Tell us where we can. Lisa Barca is her name.
That is my name. So if people want to find more of this particular kind of music, this vegan music, it's under the name of Scarlet Rescue, which is the band that I was working with at the time when we made the video. There's a music video for it on YouTube. If you want to look it up, Scarlet Rescue, and barbecue is spelled out. It's BARBE with a C. Scarlet with one T, barbecue spelled out with a C. But if you just search Scarlet Rescue barbecue, it should show up. Yeah, there's a really cute video for it on YouTube. It's filmed at a sanctuary. There's all these adorable sanctuary animals in it. So we wanted to do that. We didn't want to go with the gore or depictions of the violence. There's like a real place for that, but with this one, we wanted it to just be more fun and cathartic and celebrate the animals, put the animals front and center. So that's what we did with the video.
And let everybody know, by God, we're not going to a...
Do you think you'll write a sequel song about a happy going to a vegan barbecue?
We could all write it together right now.
Yeah, we could. We could do all kinds of things right now.
I mean, I know there are other things on the agenda, but I mean,
I don't want to suppose. Is there anybody else wanting to? Is anybody else out in the audience? Is anybody wanting to come and share their experience? Come on up. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to leave room for others to share out.
Danny,
Everything's
good in Techland. Danny has been behind the scenes in Techland. Y'all need to. Really, she has just been behind the scenes, making sure everything's going right in Zoom land, and all your comments, all your questions get answered. So y'all, please think of Danny and give her a round of applause as well. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, I was just about to say, our floor manager, more like our freaking director over here. Rebecca Allen is, just an amazing force. So kind, so gentle, but by God, you better do it. On the nose. It's 4 o'clock.
It's a tight ship
It's
here.
4 o'clock. We got 1 minute. Renee? And you know what? I mean, she's somebody that can keep this rider girl in place, okay? So Rebecca, thank you for your awesome, way of keeping us in shape around here. Yeah.
Say something with James. James, you could come with me.
Okay.
I was getting ready to say something about you.
Oh, all right. Well, that's nice. But James, you come here and you can hold the mic with camera. It doesn't matter. But you roll. Yeah. I just wanted to say, people say, what's going to come out of this? So we're videotaping a lot of the speeches. We're going to edit them thanks to James. He's doing a great job. He's videotaping. I'm videotaping, but he's doing a lot of great videotaping. And he agreed to edit, which is the hardest part. He's agreed to edit some of these videos together, and I will help. We will do it together on Zoom, but that will get this out to a lot more people. And we can also say that thousands of people have watched on TikTok. So several thousand people watched us today on TikTok. Your speech and various other speeches, and we're going to continue to go live when Dr. Rao speaks again. So we are getting out there through the edited videos, the TikTok, and we also went live on Unchained TV on the opening session for an hour and 15 minutes. You spoke, and then Dr. Rao spoke. So that's also available on Unchained TV as live coverage. And that also went on Facebook as well as X and LinkedIn and YouTube. So we're getting it out there.
Wow. I was just about to say, Jane is tireless. I mean, she's a force in the vegan community. She's one of my greatest mentors and a sister from another mother, for sure. And I don't think I'd be where I am today. And I say this with all due respect. I don't think I'd be where I am today without Jane's voice in my ears, encouraging me when things were difficult. You don't have a cattle ranch and go vegan in Texas without some kind of bull crap, happening from time to time. A lot of hate sometimes, but yeah. But Jane has been a real force for me to continue growing.
Download Unchained TV. It's free.
And download Unchained TV. It's free. Right. Yeah. Did you want to say something?
Yeah.
All right.
Y'all, thank you so much for being great participants in laughter yoga, y'all. And it's wonderful to meet everyone here. I came in from Atlanta, and that's the way it is in the vegan community, very welcoming, and we all come together and we make a difference, a huge difference. I mean, we do small things, but they're not small. They might look small, but they're making a huge impact. And when we come together, we can change the world. So I'm very grateful for everything you all are doing every single day. And I love y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Marquita.
Let's do some more laughter.
And I want to say a big thank you to, of course, Dr. Rao, his energy, his tireless devotion and persistence of bringing a vegan world to the world, a vegan world by 2026. Y'all imagine, y'all visualize for a moment that the book that's come through me, that's being birthed, it's supposed to happen in 2026. Let's hope that happens on the precipice of this vegan world, and I also just want to say that I want to recognize Janie. Janie, the energy that is in the room that I just feel graciously permeate every ounce of Dr. Rao. And I really do appreciate you and the presence and the force you hold here, the space you hold. So thank you. And teamwork makes the dream work. That's right. So if there's did you want to say something on your page?
This is exactly what I was going to say. Behind every great man is an incredible woman. So we couldn't have done this without you, Janie, from organizing and ordering food and checking in with us and all the behind the scenes things. Thank you so much.
I'm not going to tell anybody about the behind the scenes things you do. Anyway.
And I wanted to add, yes, for, cheers for Janie too, because Dr. Rao tells us all the time that when he watched that Inconvenient Truth and he learned about the climate and then he started researching and then he learned the real inconvenient truth. And that Janie said, if you think you can do something about it, go for it. And look at what we got going now. Thanks to both of the Raos.
Yay! All right. Anybody else Kim, did you want to come say something? You have said nothing, and I know you're bursting at the seams.
Thank you. It's so easy to get that southern accent going once you hear it a lot. Thank you so much. I am just so pleased to be here, and I'm so pleased to meet. Like, I was Facebook friends with Marakita for many years, and I get to meet her in person, and she's even more awesome in person. And yeah, and Johnny, who used to live in LA, and we've been Facebook friends for years, and I came all the way to Phoenix, and I get to meet him, and I got to meet everyone and got to get to know everyone. We stayed in a Airbnb, about what, 9 or 10 of us or something. Had a great time, and yeah,
And it ain't over.
that's right. We're still having a great time. But I'm so inspired. Thank you, Dr. Rao, for all you do, and everyone else who helps him do it. And that's it. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kim. I think Darmada, did you have something? No? Okay, you're good. All right, yes.
Okay. Hello again. I was just going over our schedule and thinking about all the wonderful things that we have already done to kind of refresh our memories. We heard from Hanuman Das. We heard from Jay O'Shea. We heard from Nish Nubasha. We heard from Musisi Mike. We heard from Brittany Bunk and Annette Hadaway. We heard from Lisa Levinson, Carol Manetta, Stefan Martinovic, Marakita Solis, the Founding Mothers Movement. And the women there, Laura George, Ejna Flory, and Karuna. We heard from Gerard Wedderburn Bishop. We heard from Renee. We heard from James Wilson. We heard from Allison Hamji. We heard from Barbara Pearl, and we had fun there. And let's see, I hope I'm not leaving anybody. Oh, and then we had these beautiful opening prayers and ceremonies in the morning from Tammy and from you, Dakota, and from Lisa Levinson and Jane Velez Mitchell. My gosh. And so I just wanted to kind of bring those back together during this part of our reflection about all the things that we've done. And I hope that you enjoy going back and looking at the videos again and sharing them with your friends and family.
I'm looking forward to doing that for sure. Thank you, BJ. Thank you so much.